had dropped 4 in a row. Lakers had won 4 in a row coming in. First quarter. Off the Lakers miss, Pelicans out and running. This will be fun. Look at Williamson coming up the wing. Josh Hart throwing it up. Williamson throwing it down. He had 11 points and 7 rebounds in the first half. Williamson. Later in the quarter, Pelicans up by 9. They really established themselves early in this game. Brandon Ingram says, hey, man, remember me? And then later, Ingram can't get that one to go, stays with it. 17 points in the first half. He shot 8 of 9 from the floor. Pelicans up 8. They led by as many as 15 in the first half. But then LeBron James distributing. Montrezl Harrell, the recipient there. James 6 assists in the first half. Took just 3 shots. Let the game come to him. Playing that point guard, point forward position, whatever you want to call it. Anthony Davis got the mid-range game working. And then bodying up on Williamson. Davis 15 points in the first half. Lakers down 1 at the half. Third quarter. Pelicans are down 2. Williamson. A man his size, able to double clutch, stay in the air, and dunk that. Unbelievable, his athleticism. Finished with 21 points and 12 rebounds. Did I mention athleticism? LeBron James still doing it at 36. Able to get up and throw it down. And then James sizing up the defense, sees the lane, and gets there. Lakers up 10 after 3. Fourth quarter, Pelicans got it back down to 4, but Lakers weren't having it. James to Harrell for the dunk, and then James to Kuzma for 3. 11 assists for LeBron James in this game. 5 minutes to play, Lakers up 17 and running away with it. James out there by himself on the perimeter. 21 points on just 11 shots as the Lakers run away with it. 112-95. They're 11-3.
Does it help, though, to have, not to have to play over 30 because you're up by 20? Is that stuff that you can sort of build up and save for later in the season, or is it irrelevant?
No, man. I'm 36 years old, 18 years in the league. Ain't no save for something for later on in the season. My body is ready to play whatever I need to play throughout the course of the game. I go hard while I'm out there, and then I start my treatment after the game. So I wish I could bank time. I wish I was Justin Timberlake in that movie where I could bank some time, but I cannot do that at this point.
Just still learning with execution and learning that if a player is going to a certain spot, we all still got to figure out what to do and spacing. Sometimes somebody's driving and we have 3 people cutting and nobody to kick it out to. And it's small things like that we just got to fix.
LeBron James and Zion Williamson each led their teams with exactly 21 points on Friday, which brings their combined total through 3 meetings to 180 points. Only 3 pairs of number 1 picks have scored more over their first 3 meetings in the common draft era, which dates back to 19.
A work of literature here. So Perk caused quite a stir with this tweet. I don't need to be convinced that Bron is the GOAT. It's stamped. But if this Nets team can make it out the East and Bron takes care of them, he's the undisputed GOAT. Beating 2 super teams today is greater than 6-0 in the 90s. Carry on. Stephen A?
Oh,
is
no.
Perk right about LeBron's GOAT status?
No, I don't agree with Perk, but Max is the one that was talking smack to Perk. So I'm going to let Max get in here first. I'll close. Go ahead, Max.
Go for
you
it.
and Kirk, you and
First of
Kendrick
all,
go at it. No,
it's absurd. Every word of it is absurd. Starting with LeBron's the GOAT, it's stamped. No, actually, Jordan's the GOAT, it's stamped. There's nothing LeBron's going to do now that's going to convince anyone who knows that at his best he's better than Jordan, because he's not. No, the numbers say it and the championships say it. That's number 1. Number 2, you act like Perkins has an old soul. Perk, you got an old soul, but you're actually a youngin'. You're over 10 years younger than me, and more than that, younger than Stephen A. You didn't really live through the Jordan era, so you're disrespecting the teams he beat. Michael Jordan, just in the second three-peat, had a year where when he comes back, had a full season back, he beat a 60-win Shaq and Penny team. That was a super team that had just been to the finals. Shaq, Penny, and an excellent supporting cast. He swept them. He then beat a 64-win Seattle team with Gary Payton and Sean Kemp. They were crew deep. They won 64 games. Well, if he beats another super team, The Nets have a big three. As I said, there's pressure on them to get to the finals. A lot of people aren't convinced they'll get to the finals. Most people aren't taking them to beat the Lakers. They're not the favorites against the Lakers because you brought it up yourself. A lot of people brought it up. There's only one ball. How are Harden and Kyrie going to play together? KD's coming back off the injury. Is his health going to hold up? Who's going to play defense because they weren't playing it well before Harden got there? Beating that team, you think, puts LeBron James over
Max,
a Michael Jordan who never even got taken seven games in a finals at 6-0?
Max, you know good and damn well we only got 2 minutes left. Why are you going to chew up all the time? Go ahead, Kendrick.
Yeah, Max. And Max, I thought you was going to bring up Jeff Hornacek again because I was going to walk off the set. But listen, let me tell you something, Max. If you're about to downgrade that 73-19 when Braun came back 3-1, then you're tripping right now. And if you're about to sit up here and tell me that with a Kyrie Irving, who is one of the most skilled players to ever touch the damn basketball, and Kevin Durant, arguably the best scorer to ever touch the damn basketball, James Harden, arguably the most prolific scorer to touch the damn basketball, all on one team, and you're telling me that that's not a super team and it's not championship or bust, you're out your damn mind. It is championship or bust. And if they happen to meet up with the Lakers in the finals and the Lakers beat them, I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear that GOAT talk no more from you or Stephen A.
Well,
Max,
first of all,
the stuff you just said about, go ahead, Stephen A.
Kendrick, I got to go, but let me say this to you. First of all, Kendrick, I disagree with you. Secondly, on this show, I will say what I want to say. Thirdly, and more importantly, here's the deal, Kendrick Perkins. Here's the deal. You can say that all you want to, but you dilute your own argument because you don't even have Brooklyn coming out of the East. You got Philly. So evidently, they ain't that damn.
It doesn't stop, folks. The four-time NBA champion is also a four-time MVP, a four-time NBA Finals MVP. Winning a fifth NBA championship would tie him with the likes of Magic Johnson and the late, great Kobe Bean Bryant. Max, you're up first. Would a fifth NBA title give LeBron GOAT status? I'm talking MJ, Michael Jordan, his airness GOAT status.
No. LeBron's already got the career argument. It's either him or Kareem. And I think for in the pros, in the NBA, considering how LeBron's still playing at his age, it's LeBron. Peak is Jordan. And I don't see where LeBron's going to elevate his peak over Jordan's. When we talk about greatest, guys, I don't think we just mean add up all the win shares by the end of the career and who's worth more wins, right? I don't think that's what we're talking about. Nor do I think it's just a guy who had one season. Oh, my God, he was all-world. He was as good as anyone I've ever seen, Bill Walton or something. I don't think that's what we're talking about. We're talking about a guy who's prime, who concentrated the highest level of performance over a significant number of years. When they were at their best, and how long did their best last? That's the best basketball ever played, right? So in baseball, if you said who's the greatest pitcher ever, you have a very good argument for Sandy Koufax. He only had 4 prime years, but one after another. No one ever did it like that. I think that's really what we're talking about when we say the best who ever did it in sports. And Michael Jordan's prime. Guys, the first time Jordan played with another All-Star was Scottie Pippen. He took the Pistons 7 games. Pippen had a migraine in Game 7, scored 2 points in 40 minutes, so they lost. He never didn't win the finals again in under 7 games. Understand? Every time you gave, here, Jordan, here's an All-Star. He won the finals in under 7 games and put up numbers the likes we've never seen, right? And was an all-world defender. He's the greatest of all time. I don't think LeBron can catch him.
Well, Max, you just moving the goalposts for your narrative again. You can't just come up with that logic and say this is why he's the greatest of all time. Maybe LeBron James is still going. He's still at his best. Even at the age of 36, he's still at his best. And here's the problem that I have. When we talk about the game of basketball, last time I checked, the game of basketball was a team sport. This is not boxing. This is not golf. This is not tennis, where rings and championships define your legacy. Yeah, it helps your legacy, but it don't define your greatness. How about the individual accolades? Because you could be on a team that just don't have the pieces, and you could be doing more than your part, which LeBron James has been doing his entire career. And I didn't even want to get into this GOAT debate because I already know you two old haters. I know how y'all act. Oh, no, it's nothing that he could do, not a damn thing. I'm just waiting for you, Stephen A. I can't even see you today because I don't even have my monitor on. Matter of fact, I don't even want to see your face right now. But at the end of the day, I said this again. I said this
Smiling
before,
ear to ear.
and I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it again. LeBron James and Michael Jordan are sitting at the same dinner table. Some people like to drink Ciroc. Others like to drink Hennessy. I'm a Hennessy type guy.
I'm a Hennessy dude. That's fair enough. And listen, stop lying because you always love to see my face. Just stop lying. Stop lying, big boy. Stop lying. That's number one. Number two, you are absolutely right. There's nothing that's going to change my mind. To me, Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time, but him and LeBron James sitting at the same table. LeBron James is on the Mount Rushmore of basketball, one of the top 4 players in the history of basketball. There is no question about that. And listen, God forbid I don't say that LeBron is number 1. I mean, what the greatest insult in the planet, because some of the folks in this camp, that's how they treat it. Him number 2 instead of number 1. What blasphemy are you spewing? But I think it's something to be said about the road that you traveled to get there. I think that the things that LeBron had to endure before he ultimately got to that point, psychologically, mentally, emotionally, I think there's something to be said for that. I'm thinking about the scoring championships of Michael Jordan, the NBA championships of Michael Jordan, the killer instinct that was Michael Jordan. All of those things come into consideration for me. And so when I look at LeBron, it's no disrespect whatsoever. I think he's the greatest in the game today. I think he's the greatest in the history of basketball outside of Michael Jordan. But if I had to take LeBron at his best, and I don't hold him all those championship losses against him, even though he lost 6. I don't blame him for losing to the Spurs in 2007. I don't blame him for losing for the Spurs in 2014. I don't blame him for losing to KD and Golden State. I understand what he was working against. But in the end, all I'm saying is when I take LeBron at his best, and I take Michael Jordan at his best, I would want Michael Jordan every day and twice on Sunday. Over LeBron James. And that is the only person that I would want over LeBron James in the history of basketball. I don't find that to be insulting.
Stephen A. is right, Perk.
Braun had to go against more Hall of Famers, but carry on, you good. Go ahead, Max.
You could talk about. You could talk. You can use that argument. I could use. Hold on, Max. I can use the culture of the game today compared to what it was in the 80s and stuff like that. The roughhouse tactics, the rules, how soft it's become over the years. I can bring that up. We can have that argument another time, KP. We can do that.
You do not want to go to
the Hall of Fame.
You do not want. You don't want to go.
I'm so sick of the competition argument.
Because I'm telling you, you don't want to bring up. You don't want to bring up John Hornacek and Thunder Dan again. And LeBron facing KD and Kawhi. We ain't gonna go there. You right. You right. We ain't gonna go there. You right. I ain't gonna bring up Thunder Dan. You right.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about basketball in the 80s. I'm talking about basketball in the 80s. Don't act like you don't know. You know exactly what I'm talking about. There's a whole bunch of Kendrick Perkins with no softness, Cottonelle tissue rules.
Forget about basketball in the 80s.
On the defensive side of the ball. Don't start that.
I can't.
Please.
You don't need to give Jordan extra.
Than it was then.
You don't need to give Jordan extra credit for that. Don't give Jordan any extra credit for that. I take exception to what Perk just said about he didn't go up against enough Hall of Famers. Perk, on his way to winning 72 games, after that to win the championship, the all-time record at the time of the regular season, he swept a 60-win Shaq Penny team in their primes, swept them, goodbye, and then beat a 64-win team with Gary Payton and Sean Kemp in the finals. These were 60-plus win teams. He beat the Stockton and Malone teams twice. He beat the Magic Johnson James Worthy team when he first won his first title. This idea that Jordan went against soft competition, the reason it seems that way is because a lot of those cats didn't win championships because Jordan beat them. That's why they didn't win championships, because they had to play in the Jordan era.
Max, first of all, I never said Jordan went against soft competition. I never said that. That never came out of my mouth. But what I do know is that I came in the league with LeBron James in 2003. and the league was physical. The league still had guys like Ron Artest, Jermaine O'Neal, Steven Jackson, Shaq, Gary Payton. All these guys were still in the league. The league was physical. The league was physical.
Yeah,
from 2003 to 2011. No, from 2003 to about 2012. Max, first of all, I just told you that championships should not define, it should play a major part.
Yes, they should.
But it should not define the whole, should not write the whole story. This is not an individual sport, Max, no matter how you want to say it.
It's not the only thing, but it's a big thing. And Stephen A., you're right. You can't hold all the losses in the finals against LeBron. Like, you can't hold going up against that Warriors team with KD. Who was going to beat that team? Throw those two out. The first time he made the finals with the Cavs, all credit to LeBron for making the finals. The first time they lost to the Warriors, Kevin Love and Kyrie got hurt. Credit to LeBron for taking it 6. But the first loss against Dallas and Miami and the last loss against the Spurs in Miami, those were loaded teams, no excuses. Jordan never lost a series like that.
All of that?
When Jordan was loaded, he never lost series like that.
All of that just to say you agree with me? Why didn't you just say, Stephen, I agree with you? That's exactly what I said, Max. I mean, I understand, but the bottom line is at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter.
For the Spurs
what it comes down to is LeBron James and MJ, like Kendrick Perkins said, they eating at the same dinner table. I'm not going to refute that, KP. So you can lift up your head and stop looking depressed, Pastor Perkins. No, all I'm saying is that they eat at the same dinner table, but it ain't MJ.
Look, and I'm not. Listen here, Stephen A. and Max. This is what y'all failing to realize. I'm a fan of Michael Jordan's, right? But like I said, we could go. You could come down here to Texas, and I'll take you straight to the swamps, the old country Beaumont where I grew up at, and we can go talk with all my great uncles, and they go argue you down and say Kareem is the greatest of all time. Then when we get to y'all generation, you and Matt, pushing that 50 line, y'all go talk about Michael Jordan.
Kareem's at the table
but
too.
When it comes to my generation, I didn't say he wasn't. Max, can I finish? I'm just telling you, it could be an argument or a debate. It's just on what you prefer. What part of that you don't get?
Yeah, but Jordan's at the head of the table, Perk.
Jesus
Jordan's
Christ.
at the head of the table.
Oh, man,
Bill Russell,
Max.
Kareem, and LeBron are there. Jordan's at the head of the table.
Yeah, all
right.
man.
My doctor just called me. He's like, this has been a lot for your ears today.